Are you prepared to hear some amazing news? In the event that you get VA, Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or other benefits, your eagerly anticipated $22,000 stimulus checks will soon arrive. We've verified the precise deposit dates, and payments are already being issued, so watch this video carefully. Find out when your $2,000 stimulus check is expected to arrive in your mailbox or bank account. This information is essential for handling your money and making plans for the future during these difficult times. Let's go over everything you need to know in this video, where we'll walk through the complete payment process. This includes how the payments are dispersed, such as by prepaid debit card or direct deposit paper check. By understanding this process, you'll be able to anticipate potential problems or delays in receiving payments. But don't worry, we've got you covered. We'll address some of your most frequent queries regarding these stimulus payments and provide a step-by-step guide on what to do if you run into any issues, like missing payments or wrong amounts. This will help you fix any issues quickly and efficiently. This covers inquiries such as who is qualified to receive the payment, how can you track your payment, and what should you do if the amount is incorrect. These explanations should help allay any confusion you may be experiencing. It's crucial to keep up with the most recent developments in order to making sure you receive the necessary financial support and your stimulus check on time can have a significant impact on how you manage your daily expenses, particularly in these difficult times. This video attempts to provide you all the information you need in an understandable and straightforward manner. After following months of negotiations and anticipation, the federal government has finally released the rollout plan for providing millions of Americans, including those receiving Social Security retirement benefits, with $2,000 in direct stimulus payments. Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSI, is an additional source of income. SSDI and VA benefits. This much-needed financial boost coincides with rising costs for everything from gas to groceries, which is making life difficult for many people on fixed incomes who depend on these vital federal programs. The stimulus funds could spell the difference between being able to pay your bills on time and getting further behind. After months of negotiations and anticipation, the federal government has finally announced the rollout plan for getting $2,000 in direct stimulus payments into the hands of millions of Americans, including those receiving Social Security benefits, to counterbalance the rising cost of living, which has surpassed the annual adjustments to benefit amounts. Perks for Security Retirement extra money received from security benefits from the VA and Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI. This much-needed cash boost coincides with rising costs for everything from gas to groceries, which is making life difficult for many people on fixed incomes who depend on these vital federal programs. Signify the difference between getting by and getting farther behind. The payments are intended to offset the growing cost of living, which has outpaced the yearly increases to benefit amounts. The requirements for qualification for the $2,000 direct payment. Pence are simple to understand if you are already benefiting from one of the principal federal initiatives. As of late April 2024, you are eligible for the full $2,000 stimulus. There are no further income or resources needed. Social Security retirement benefits, supplemental security income, SSDI, Social Security disability insurance, or VA benefits like disability compensation or pension payments source tests were used. Unlike earlier rounds of stimulus payments, however, the payout amount begins to phase off at $775,000 in adjusted gross income, AGI, for single filers, and $150,000 for joint filers in the case of unfiled taxes. This is based on either 2022 tax returns or Social Security SSI data, finished at $198,000 for joint returns and $999,000 for single filers. For recipients of Social Security retirement benefits, the timing of these stimulus payments varies based on the payment method and kind of benefits received. SSDI or SSI benefits. Deposits will be released in 3 distinct weeks of June 14, 1926, depending on your birth date, will see the mailing of stimulus checks based on your disability rating percentage to those who are receiving paper checks instead of direct deposits beginning on July 1st. VA benefit claimants' timelines vary from late June to the IRS, and other agencies strongly advise using direct deposit rather than paper checks as it's more secure and allows you access to stimulus cash on the scheduled date if you get payments via this method. Paper checks will arrive 2 to 3 weeks later. You obtain vital stimulus funding more quickly. We use the Direct Express prepaid debit card system, so if you haven't set up a direct deposit yet, this would be a great time to submit banking information. The $2,000 stimulus should load easily onto your current card in certain situations. The seizure of these stimulus funds to pay off past due obligations, like child support or back taxes. But there are significant safeguards in place so that consumer debts like credit card or medical expenses cannot be sequestered or affect SSDI benefits. Important safeguards are provided by Social Security retirement, Virginia disability benefits, and pension payments. An additional $2,000 can give people on modest fixed incomes the much-needed breathing room to take care of urgent requirements in the event that they are subject to such actions or any form of garnishment by creditors or debt collectors. The money might be used to pay off high-interest debt, cover housing expenses, or buy stock. Brushing up on the basics. Invest in dependable transportation or create an emergency fund, but no one-time investment can address long-term financial difficulties. While a direct stimulus payment will be helpful in the short term, carefully allocating this money can bring stability and resilience in the future. It doesn't deal with the structural problems that cause a large number of elderly people and people with disabilities to struggle with low fixed incomes. Advocacy groups are still putting pressure on Congress and the White House to adopt more comprehensive solutions aimed at bolstering Social Security funds and expanding payments in order to practically pay for the necessities of currently. The average monthly Social Security retirement payment is slightly over $1,600. Although SSI benefits only provide $1,371 for couples and $9,914 for individuals. Infirmity SSDI supporters contend that payment amounts do not reflect the difficulties of living with a disability as a reason for housing utilities. Most, if not all, of these monthly salaries are spent on groceries and healthcare. Any unforeseen expense might quickly put recipients in danger of financial ruin. To properly assist Americans who depend on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and VA payments to make ends meet, longer-lasting legislative changes are required. Amidst growing living expenses, despite the fact that the $2,000 stimulus will only offer short-term respite, supporters are optimistic that this most recent round of payments is a positive step toward giving priority to our most vulnerable communities. Is insignificant compared to the financial hardship that many people are going through as a result of inflation and the soaring prices of needs like housing, food, and healthcare. Take Martha Thompson, a retired widow from Tulsa, Oklahoma, whose Social Security payment is only $1,412 per month. Just isn't as flexible as she laments that since costs for necessities like meat, eggs, and veggies seem to be rising every time I visit the grocery store, I've had to make drastic cuts and sometimes even skip meals in order to save money. Like I once thought about G. Watkins, a 58-year-old former Detroit construction worker, was injured on the job and is now receiving SSDI payments. His monthly SSDI payout of $1,279 covers all of his living expenses, including rent, utilities, co-pays for prescription drugs, and doctor visits. At the end of the month, there's just nothing left. While Watkins acknowledges that the stimulus is beneficial in the short term, he also notes that annual cost of living increases do not affect clients' SSDI checks, which remain constant year after year. Social Security and SSDI COLAs have not been able to maintain. The COLA for 2024 was only 3.4% better than nothing, but recipients still faced a significant actual drop in buying power due to the extreme inflation that peaked in 2022. The formula for calculating COLAs should be changed to properly reflect real-world inflation, raising baseline Social Security benefits by a greater amount, such as raising the average retirement payment from the current $1,600 per month to $2,000 or more, could provide much-needed relief, especially for costs like housing that account for the majority of beneficiaries' spending. Adopting more proposals to increase the Social Security minimum payment from the current $2,000 to a minimum of $1,400 per month are also being considered. This would provide a considerable minimum benefit to help raise Social Security users out of poverty. Additionally, efforts are being made to increase the asset limitations for SSI. This could enable beneficiaries to genuinely accumulate little savings as a safety net without worrying about losing payments. $3,000 for singles and individuals. Of course, additional government funding sources would be needed for any such improvements to Social Security and SSI.